today to teach you a breath yoga flow. The difference between this and some of my other yoga flow videos on YouTube at the moment is that we'll be focusing on some really short and simple sequences that will link together to make a whole class. The reason for this is so that you can more comfortably find your flow and between breath and movement. So if you're quite new to yoga and you're enjoying the movement side of things, but still find yourself struggling a little bit with linking your breath and movement, then this class is for you. So the reason for this class is to give you an opportunity to let your breathing lead you through your movements. So there'll be really easy patterns that you can take from me and then continue on to repeat at your own pace as we build our way into a strong and flowy practice. So oftentimes people wonder about breathing, or it seems like the esoteric side of yoga, but actually the breath is really important to our mental health and our physical state. If you do a lot of sitting, or if you find yourself doing more sitting now that we're all currently on lockdown, we do tend to sit in a kind of relaxed slump position. So even if we were trying to breathe deeply from here, we're kind of not able to allow the lungs to open to their full capacity. This is why we talk a lot in yoga about opening the chest and relaxing the shoulders. So you're really creating space internally for your lungs to be used to their maximum capacity. In doing this, you give yourself a direct doorway into your nervous system. When we're breathing short and shallowly, we aren't energizing ourselves to the best of our ability, which also affects our metabolism and our mood. B, especially in times of anger, we can all really relate to that kind of short, sharp breath. This stimulates the nervous system, putting us into a state of stress. So the adrenaline side of our nervous system is fired up, that fight or flight, and it does leave us always a little bit wired, especially when there's no real physical threat at hand. A lot of the time it is just our mental anxieties and stresses. So the reason we focus on our breathing in yoga and slowing the breath and deepening the breath is to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the calm and more relaxed side of our nervous system, and this is where your yoga practice will start to become much more powerful for your physical health and also, most importantly, your mental health. So with that in mind, we'll just come to a comfortable seated position. So if you can comfortably sit cross-legged on the floor, then that would be great. If you find with this position that your knees are all the way up here, there are a couple of options. You can either just switch around to sit to kneeling, or you can prop yourself up on a couple of yoga blocks if you have them, or a couple of cushions. So the reason for this is as soon as you're elevated, and I can really do with the block here actually a little bit, but as soon as you're elevated slightly, your pelvis can tip forward, which allows your hip flexors to relax. So then you don't find yourself again in that kind of difficult hunch position, but your hip flexors can relax and you can allow yourself to lengthen up through the spine. So essentially we want a comfortable seated position where you can sit up nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. And then we'll just take a moment or so here to close our eyes and bring ourselves to our breath in stillness. So once you feel nice and grounded down and comfy in your lower body, start to find that sense of lengthening up, lifting the chest, lifting out through the crown of the head. Trying to let your shoulders relax here so you feel the shoulder blades soften down the back. Your palms can be facing up or down, whichever feels most intuitive for you as you sit here. And so just noticing your natural breathing to start with. Perhaps you notice that you breathe solely into your chest, or maybe just into your tummy. So the way we breathe is like our fingerprint. We all have our own breathing habits, and we just look to retrain those as we come into our yoga practice. So today we'll use full yogic breathing. So as you inhale now, breathe into your belly and take the breath all the way up to the collarbones. And then exhale, let your chest soften and your belly relax. Breathing in, belly expands, let the rib cage expand. Okay, taking the breath to the chest and then slowly exhaling. So just stay for 3 more breaths like this. Just slowly blinking your eyes open. So sometimes, especially when you're coming to breath and movement flows for the first time, it's hard enough to focus on the movement, to also find the breath can be quite challenging. So we'll start really simply from here in our seated position. So taking your hands by your side, continue to sit up tall. And now, as you inhale, let the palms face the sky as you reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, release the hands back down by your sides. So it's important that you let your breath lead the movement, inhaling, arms rise. So if you need to go slower or faster than my instruction, let the exhale be the thing that releases your hands. So let the breath lead the movement rather than the movement leading the breath. So breathing in, find that lift of the chest, arms reach up, you can tilt the head back if that feels comfortable, and exhaling to release the arms by your side. So we'll do 2 more like this. Breathing in, lift the chest, you're still strengthening the back muscles as you do this. Exhale, release. Inhaling. And exhaling. Good, so we'll add some movement onto this. Breathing in, arms rise up. This time on the exhale, we'll tip over to your left. As you naturally breathe in, bring the arms back up to centre. Breathing out to tip the other way, really stretching, lengthening through the side of the body. Breathing in, arms come up and over, and breathe out to tip the other way. Reach up through the fingertips. Inhaling, keeping both sit bones grounded, so you're just moving from the spine. Exhale to reach. Breathing in, expanding and opening. Exhale, stretching and reaching. So we'll just go 1 more. Inhale to rise up and exhale to stretch. Breathing in, bring both arms above the head, and breathing out, slowly release your hands back down by your hips. From here we're going to find our way around to all fours, however you most comfortably get there. Stacking your hands below the shoulders, knees below your hips. So really simple sequence, cat-cow, backwards and forwards bending through the spine. From here, using your inhale breath to dip your belly, lift your chest and kick your bum up. On the exhalation then, we're going to round through the spine, tailbone down, tuck the chin into the chest. Breathing in, finding a sense of fluidity and rolling through the spine if you can. Breathing out to round forward. So moving from the tailbone, let the breath lead it. Inhale, kick the tailbone up, roll through the spine, head lifts up last. Exhale from the tailbone, roll through the spine, taking the chin to the chest. Inhaling, so we'll go 3 more times. Breathing into your back bend. Exhaling, push down through the palms as you round forward. Breathing in. Shrug the shoulder blades down and back, and then exhale. Let the shoulder blades wrap forward as you push through the palms. 1 more time. Inhaling into your back bend, chest proud, and exhaling all the air from the lungs completely, so you feel your belly squeeze at the bottom of the breath. And then breathe in, come back to neutral. Taking just a couple of comfortable deep breaths here. Starting to engage your tummy, so you're drawing the belly button into your spine. And then a little core warm up here. Again, really simple movements that we can just repeat, allowing you to find your syncing of breath and movement. So with the belly continuously engaging here, breathing in. So as you naturally inhale, kick your right leg behind you. And as you start to exhale, let the left arm go forward. Now we're just going to give ourselves a few deep breaths in stillness here, or relative stillness, because we're always kind of wobbling and undulating with our breathing anyway. But just give yourself some time to find a sense of steadiness here. Keeping the belly engaging, and again, we'll find our rhythm with breath and movement. Inhaling, we'll reach through the fingertips, kick through the back heel. Exhale, rounding through the spine, just like we did in cat-cow, pulling the elbow in to touch the knee. Inhaling, reaching out, lengthen in all directions. comes in to touch the knee. Inhaling to lengthen, and then exhaling to pull in and contract. So 3 more times, just let your breath lead you, inhaling to expand, and exhaling to contract. Exhaling fully on that next squeeze in of the elbow to touch the knee, and then breathe in, release the hand and knee to the floor. Recentering yourself here. On your next inhale breath, let the left leg extend behind you, and as you exhale, right arm goes forward. So a few deep breaths here again, just to find your balance. Keep engaging the belly, and if you can, gaze point down to your mat here. So the drishtis or gaze points in yoga help you to focus your mind as you stay in a pose or in a sequence. So staying here for 1 more inhalation. As you exhale, run through the spine as you pull the elbow in to touch the knee so your belly squeezes. Breathing in to lengthen out, and exhaling, rounding in and squeeze. Inhaling, reach through the fingertips and out through the back heel. Exhaling, drawing in. So again, 3 more times. Go slower or faster than me if you need to. The exhale brings you in, and the inhale takes you out into length. So if you lose it, pause the video and just redo this side, or come back to where you last had your breath, syncing with your movement. So last one, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, rounding in to contract. Inhale, release the hand and knee back down. We'll go 3 more rounds of cat-cow here. Inhaling into your back bend. Exhale, round forward. Breathing in at your own rhythm. And as you start to breathe out, flex through the spine. Inhaling, extending through the spine, lift the chest, shoulders drawing back. Exhaling, rounding here. Breathing in, coming back to neutral. As you breathe out, we're going to tuck the right toes under, just swiveling them off the edge of your mat, coming into a modified side plank here. Letting the left arm reach to the ceiling, turning your gaze to look towards that backhand. So here, again, simple syncing of movement and breath. Taking an inhale where you are, and then exhaling, we're going to circle this arm over the head, down and around to sweep the fingertips down onto your mat, and then circling it back up to the sky. As you inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhaling, arm reaches overhead, fingertips brush past the mat, like you're drawing a little line past your knee. Inhale to reach the hand back to the sky. Exhaling, reaching down and around. Big inhale, breath, open the chest. Exhale, this time as you sweep the arm overhead, let the palm come down and back to all fours. Switching sides. Left toes tucking under, pivot on the knees so your toes turn just off of the mat. So having your toes tucked under here again help you to balance. Breathing in, right arm extends to the ceiling. So give yourself a breath or 2 to get steady. Staying 4 in the inhale, and then as you exhale, the arm reaches overhead and the gaze point can follow. Fingertips brush past the floor. Inhaling to complete your circle, arms reach back. Exhale. Arm sweeps down. Inhaling, open the chest. And exhale to complete that half circle down on the floor. Breathing in. Exhaling. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, this time let the hand come all the way back down to the floor, back to all fours. Taking a big inhale breath, coming into your cow stretch, that little back bend. And as you exhale, with the toes tucking under, and move the hips up and back into downward facing dog.
Staying here for 5 deep breaths. So if you feel like there's always a lot of pressure in your shoulders and your wrists in your down dog, tight shoulders or even tight hamstrings can sometimes leave us a little rounded here. So give yourself a generous bend in your knees if you need to, so that you can keep lengthening through your spine. So you have a nice straight line going from your wrists out through your tailbone. And the legs can follow later on, basically. So when you get more and more open through the backs of the legs, then the heels can start to get closer and closer to the floor. More importantly, finding a sense of spaciousness through your spine in your downward facing dog. So here now, if you're still quite new to yoga and working your arm strength is really challenging for you, you can just inhale down to all fours and exhale your way back to your downward facing dog. So we'll do one like that together. Inhaling, knees drop down, lengthen through the crown of the head, and exhale back, downward dog. If you're okay to work your arms a little harder, then as you inhale, we're going to roll through the spine, coming forward into plank pose. Exhale, hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rounding forward, lengthen, and exhale, down dog. Breathing in to round, and exhale back. So we're either going all fours to down dog or plank to down dog 2 more times. Inhaling forward, exhale back. From here, we're going to walk the feet forward to the hands, finding our way to our first standing forward fold. Again, giving yourself a bend in the knees if you need it. And then coming into a few half salutations, or half sun salutations. So now, with the knees nice and soft, lengthening through the crown of the head, as you inhale, let the arms circle up overhead. As you exhale, swan dive forward, circling the arms back down. Breathing in, lengthen through the spine, arms sweep up. And exhale to lower. One more time. Inhaling, drawing a little circle like you're drawing a bubble around you. Exhale, circle the arms back down. Circling up, inhaling. And this time as you exhale, we'll bring the hands to prayer at the centre of the chest. Taking a few breaths here, so especially if your heart rate is heightened in those rounds so far, just close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths here. Grounding down through the feet, just as we did through the hips when we were sitting. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Keep encouraging your shoulder blades to relax down the back. Finding that little lift of the collarbones, making space for your breath. When you're ready, breathing in, let your inhale lead the movement as you circle the arms overhead. As you exhale, we'll swan dive forward again, so chest leads you down as you bring the fingertips back to the floor. Breathing in to lift your chest halfway up, creating an upside down L shape. Breathing out to draw the chest in towards your legs. You can still do that with bent knees. So 2 more times like that. Inhale, lifting the chest halfway. You can always have hands to shins. And exhale to fold in. Breathing in, lift the chest. And breathe out to fold. This last time we're going to add a movement. Inhaling, lifting your chest up. Exhaling, and the left toe step to the back of your mat. So coming into a little lunge position here. If you have blocks at home and you need blocks to support you here, having your hands more comfortably framing your foot, then you can have blocks either side of that front foot. So now we're going to work into a little arm flow again. Breathing in to bring the arms overhead. Exhaling to sink into the front thigh, trying to keep your back leg as straight as you can.
Inhale here, lift the chest, arch back, stay really strong through your back leg. On the exhale, let the chest lower forward as if you're bringing your belly to thighs, arms reaching behind you. It's going to be intense on the front leg. So 2 more like this. Inhale, lifting the chest, arms sweep up, arching back, tuck the tailbone forward. Exhale, release the chest forward as you reach the arms behind you. Inhale. And exhale forward. Good, we'll switch this up. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, sit low. Breathing in now, straightening the front leg. And wobbling. Exhale, bend deep into your high lunge. So 2 more like this. Inhaling to straighten. Exhale to bend. Inhaling. And exhaling. This time, exhale your hands all the way down to the ground. Chest forward as you inhale, and then exhale, step your back foot in. Take a few breaths resting here. You can just let your arms dangle, or you can hold your forearms to each hand, holding each opposite elbow. And it's really important in your forward fold, especially if you do a lot of sitting or forward bending in your work, to find this draping of your spine down towards the floor. So if you're up here, in order to keep your legs straight, you're really not getting much benefit for your spine. In fact, you're putting a lot of pressure on your intervertebral discs. So much better to have your knees really bent in order that your spine can drape downwards from your pelvis. That way gravity is doing the work for you, pulling down on your spine, giving it a rest from always being upright and being pulled down by gravity in the opposite direction. So the spine takes a lot of pressure of all of our movements day to day. So we're going to do a very similar sequence now with chair pose, and then we'll move on to the same thing on the other leg. So with your feet together, so wriggle your feet together if you can here, so your knees will be pretty close together. Release your hands if you're holding your elbows, still breathing comfortably here. On your next inhale breath, bend your knees and sweep your arms forward and up, finding your way to this little zigzag shape, chair pose or Utkatasana. So to find comfort in your shoulders here, to start with before we flow, shrugging your shoulder blades down the back. If this feels really too strong or too much tension is being created here because your shoulders are quite tight, then you can always just keep your hands slightly lower or even parallel to the ground. So, flowing with our arms, breathing in, seeing if you can find a lift of the chest, really working the back muscles quite hard. Exhaling, the legs can straighten as the arms sweep back. Big breath in. And exhale. Inhaling, arms sweep forward and up. Exhaling, almost like a forward bend, but keep it fluid, arms reach behind you. So you can be quite mindful and controlled with this. Inhaling, arms reach. Exhaling to slowly fold forward. Or you can get a little silly if you really need to release some tension. And you can inhale, let it be expansive, and sigh on the exhale with a really swing. So up to you, slow or fast. Mindful or just releasing and fluid. 2 more, however you feel. Let your emotions, let your intuition always lead the movement in your yoga practice, which is really strange to start with if you're used to classes where you're told what to do at every single step of the way. But it will feel more normal to make your own choices in your yoga movement in time. So big breath in, come back to chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Again, just a few deep breaths resting here. So we're always trying to find the balance between strength and ease. In yoga philosophy, it's called Sthiram Sukham. So as much as we want our yoga practice to be challenging for us in order for us to grow, we also want there to be a sweetness in the movement all the time. If it's just
challenging and difficult all of the time, we're not going to enjoy it so much, and in that sense we won't stick to it. So we're going to move on to our left side now. So from here, with our fingertips to the ground or hands to your shins, taking an inhale breath to lift your chest halfway up, flat back, shoulders shrugging down the back. Exhaling into your forward bend, knees can be bent. Inhale, finding fluidity through the spine. Exhale to fold. One more time, inhaling, rising up halfway. Exhale, folding in. Inhale to lift your chest halfway up. And as you exhale now, we're going to step the right toes to the back of the mat. Breathing in, arms rise up, high lunge. Breathing out, settle into the legs, sinking into your front thigh. So we're going to flow here with the arms again. Inhaling, finding a back bend, arching back, strong in your back leg. Exhale, chest lowers forward, arms reach behind you. So the front leg is meant to burn. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, lower forward, arms reach behind you. Staying strong and steady through the legs so you can be fluid and free in the upper body. Breathing in to rise up. Breathing out, lowering forward, arms reach back. Inhale, sweeping up one last time. And exhale forward. Inhaling, coming back to your high lunge. If you need to step out and just give your leg a shake, you can. Otherwise, we're going to move through the legs now. So keeping the arms up. Inhale to straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. 2 more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale into your lunge. Hands come all the way down. This time, find your way back to plank pose. Good, so a couple of breaths here if you can. We're going to do a modified vinyasa. So vinyasa has come to be the term coined for the pushing up and pushing down sequence that happens a lot through flow classes. So again, in order to find our breath, we're going to lower the knees here to all fours. Inhaling, dip your belly, lift your chest, coming into that cow pose. And as you exhale, we're going to lower the chest and the chin. This is 8-point pose, so finding this little S shape through your body. This makes it nice and easy then to breathe in, slither your chest through into cobra pose, shrug the shoulders down the back. Exhaling, sitting the hips back to your heels, and we'll rest here for 3 deep breaths. So child's pose is a good resting posture. If it's comfy here, just let your forehead come down to the mat. Again, if you tighten your hips, your spine or your shoulders, you may be a little more upright here, and that's okay. If you need your hips up higher, finding a place that feels comfortable for you. And then we'll continue that little circular vinyasa for a couple more rounds. The more and more familiar you get with the names of the poses and the kind of common sequences in general that will show up from class to class, the more and more familiar you'll get with breathing and moving, breathing and moving. But hopefully these simple sequences are a good place to start. Good, so now, as you inhale from child's pose, round forward through the spine, coming into that cat stretch. Now on the exhale, finding a little back bend as you lower the chest and the chin to the mat. Breathing in, slide the chest forward, push through the palms, shrug the shoulders back, coming into cobra pose. Breathing out, sitting your hips back to your heels. We're going to keep moving this time. Inhale, rounding forward. So you feel a big stretch between the shoulder blades. Exhale, dip the belly, lower the chest and chin. Let the resistance work in the arms as you lower through. Inhaling, pull your chest through, keep your thighs squeezing here. Exhaling, sitting the hips back to the heels. 2 more times. Inhale, round forward through the spine. Exhale, let the belly and the chest drop. Keep control through the arms like a press up. Inhale,
sliding through cobra, shoulders back. Exhaling, sit the hips back to the heels. One more time. Inhaling, rounding forward. Exhale, finding that back bend, pressing through the arms. So still like a press up as you slide through, you're pushing through the palms to lift you into your back bend. Exhaling, this time as your hips move back, we'll tap the toes under and lift the hips all the way up and back into our downward facing dog. And slowing your breathing here. So it's normal that your heart rate will heighten in your yoga practice, especially when the movements are very dynamic and flowing from movement to movement, breath to breath. So these still points are like check-in points, so you can slow your breathing back down and allow your heart rate to lower once more. Good, so we're going to come through one more flow and then we'll start to ease our way into some more static stretches to close our practice today. So from here, as you inhale, we're going to round forward through the spine, coming into plank pose, really roll onto the tips of your toes. As you exhale now, we're going to bend the knees, so getting slightly more challenging, rolling onto the outside edge of your right foot and the inside edge of your left foot, sitting your hips down towards your heels. So really strong. We're just going to do a couple of these. Inhale, come back into your plank pose, roll onto the tips of your toes. Exhaling, outside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right foot, as you sit the hips back to your heels here. So really strong on the arms. Inhaling, coming forward. If you need to stop and break and skip one, you can. Otherwise, we'll do this as our last one. Exhale, sit the hips to the heels. Inhale forward into plank pose. And exhale. Coming onto the left side. So like a supported side plank. Breathing in, coming back to your plank pose. Exhale, hips go back, downward facing dog. We're going to walk the feet forward to the hands. Just as we've been doing half salutations from your forward fold, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, drawing a little circle, and exhale, lower through forward bend. Inhaling, sweeping up. Exhale, lower through. Last time, inhale. This time as you exhale, bring the palms together above your head, hands together at the chest. Breathing in to start to tip the weight over into your right foot, picking the left heel up. Breathing out, bend into that right knee. So just a half bend, not quite so deep as in our lunge. Inhaling to straighten. Exhale to bend, almost like in chair pose, that kind of depth. Inhaling to straighten, lift the chest. This time as you exhale to bend, you're going to continue to tip the chest forward, kicking the left leg behind you. Taking 3 deep breaths, holding here. So this is warrior 3, another challenging one on the legs. Slowly, we're going to start to step the left toes to the back of your mat. So we're back in that lunge position. Taking an inhale breath from here with as much control as you can. On the exhale, starting to really come onto the very tips of the toes of your left foot. So you can comfortably bend your left knee down to the mat. So we end up in a low lunge. Just checking your alignment here. So if that leaves you with your front knee way over the heel, just wriggle your back leg back. So we really want to have a nice stacking of the knee over the heel here, so we don't put our knee at potential of injury. From here, inhale, sweeping the arms overhead. This time on the exhale, we're going to lift the chest as we squeeze the elbows back, tucking the tailbone forward. So we're going to almost do like a cat-cow flow now. So we're going to try to be mobilizing into our shoulder girdle. So keeping this cactusing of the arms, we want to refine our back bend first and then we'll flow. So as you inhale, it's a really subtle movement to tip your pelvis back, trying to tuck your tailbone forward. This gives you spaciousness in your lower spine, so you're not just cranking into your back bend here. So tailbone tucks forward, chest lifts up. So if you could, kind of zip your waistline in and up. You want to find the sense of the strength of your spine, arching you back. And this cactusing of the arms really helps here. So you're squeezing the elbows back, squeezing your shoulder blades together and down. So, staying for one more inhale breath. As you exhale, circle your arms forward, curve through your upper back now, bringing your fingertips to touch. Inhaling, sweep the chest up as you squeeze the elbows back. Exhaling, rounding through the upper back as you bring the palms together. 2 more times. Inhale, tailbone forward, lift the chest, the elbows back. Exhale, round. Inhaling. Exhale, bring the palms together and then down to frame that front foot. Our last sequence here. So you can be up on your left fingertips for more spaciousness, or even again using your yoga block on the inside of your right foot. Going to come into a little mandala flow through the arm again. So we've been here already. Inhaling now to reach your right arm forward as if you were trying to touch the front wall. Exhaling to sweep that arm behind you, let your gaze follow your hand. Breathing in, fingertips brush past the floor, extending the arm forward. Breathing out like you're drawing a sunset. Exhaling, arm sweeps down and forward. Inhale, expand, reach, open the chest as you reach the arm behind you, so getting that nice twisting motion through the spine. Last time, breathing in and breathing out. Hand comes back down to the floor. Inhale, lift your chest from here. Exhaling, moving the hips back, straightening into your front leg, half split. Inhale to bend into your front knee, lift the chest. You've got the option of having blocks here to support this sequence. Exhaling, hips go back. So you can stay higher up if you need to. Inhaling, bending into your front knee. Exhaling, hips go back. So you can stay here, moving and breathing in this sequence of inhaling into low lunge and exhaling into half split, or to add a little challenge and a little balance. Now as you inhale, bending forward, the arms can sweep up, all on that one inhale breath. Now maybe on the exhale, straightening the front leg, hips go back, arms reach behind you, so you go hands free. Inhaling, bending into your front knee, arms rise. Exhale, slowly, really strong on that front leg, arms reach back. Let your breath lead you. Inhale. Last time, exhale. Inhaling, bending into the front knee, arms reach up. This time as you exhale, hands lower down to the floor. Tuck the toes in the back foot, lift the back knee, stepping back to plank pose. So to start heading to the end of our class, final challenges. From plank pose, going through a full vinyasa, or if your lower back dips here through weakness in the arms or lower back, then dropping the knees down. So inhale, breath in your plank pose. Exhale, chest comes forward, lowering halfway. Chaturanga. Inhale, draw the chest forward and up, cobra with the hips on the ground, or upward facing dog with your thighs lifting up. Exhaling, back to downward facing dog. Taking 3 deep breaths here. I've got a slippy rug today, which is making everything harder, which is a good thing. So we're going to walk our feet forward to our hands. Forward fold. Take a couple of breaths here to relax, bending in your knees if you need to. Arms can just drape and hang heavy, or you can hold your elbows. Good, so finishing up with the last few half salutations, comfortably linking our breath by now, I hope. So if your heart rate is heightened, let it slow down first. And that way you can find that calm flow of your breathing again, rather than the breath being fast because you're out of breath and your heart rate has been heightened. So release your hands back down with straight legs or knees bent. Arms circle out wide and up overhead, stretch tall. Exhale, keep the spine long as you fold forward once more. Inhaling, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, fold. Last time, inhale. Exhale, forward. This time as you inhale to circle the arms out wide, bring the palms together above the head. On the exhale, hands come down to prayer at the centre of the chest. A couple of breaths here to re-find your rhythm. And then starting to tip your weight over into your left foot. Soften into the into the left knee as you start to pick your right heel up. Find a point to focus your gaze on. Give yourself some time here to feel steady. And if you're wobbling and you need to step in and out, do that as many times as you need to. So it doesn't matter if the balance isn't perfect here. From here then, once you find that nice comfortable bend in your knee, we're going to inhale to straighten and exhale to bend. So you can always tap the back toes down for support if you need to. Inhaling to straighten, exhale to bend. Inhale, straighten. And this time as you exhale, bending into that standing knee, we're going to start to tip forward, continuing to exhale. Finding warrior three, this T-shape through the body for 3 deep breaths. So if you're feeling really strong and like you've still got lots of energy to burn, you can take the arms overhead here for warrior three. Otherwise, hands stay to prayer at the chest. Staying here for 1 inhale breath. With as much control as you can muster on the exhale, we're going to slowly step the right toes down onto the mat. Breathing in here. Exhaling, slowly bending into your back knee. So if you feel pulling on this knee as you do that, really come onto the tips of your toes so you're not pulling too much on the knee. Back knee lowers down. Again, fidget your stance into a comfortable alignment here. So if you landed, or if you landed with a thumb and you're kind of forward in this front knee, wriggle it back. Good. Inhaling, arms sweep overhead. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower the hands to the floor here. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms as we start to find some back extension here. So how far you back bend doesn't matter, the aesthetic doesn't matter. You want to feel that the back bend is initiated again from a sense of strength and spaciousness. So tailbone tucks forward, chest lifts, shoulder blades squeeze down, so the elbows squeeze back. So again here, just like we did in cat-cow, we're now going to prepare for movement on an inhale breath. Lift the chest, squeeze the elbows back. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Arms reach forward so palms come to touch. Inhale, lift the chest, tailbone forward. Exhale, round through the spine, palms touch. Inhaling, lifting the chest, elbows back. Exhale. Last time, still tough on the legs. Inhaling, exhaling. This time, let the palms come all the way down to reframe the front foot. So circling through the arm. So letting your right palm become grounded or even on your fingertips here or your block. When you're ready, let your breath initiate the movement. So as you inhale, left arm extends forward, continuing then to circle up and behind you. Gaze to the back of the backhand. Exhale, fingertips brush past the earth. Inhale, reaching forward and up and behind you, looking back. Exhale, so it's a really good mobilization for the shoulders as well. It may feel a little stiff. So as you inhale forward, you can always bend into that back elbow as you draw it back to extend the arm if that helps. Exhaling, arms reach forward. Last time, inhale. And exhale, palms come down. Breathing in, lift your chest here in low lunge. And as you exhale, we're going to move the hips back, coming into half split. Inhale. inhaling, bending forward. Again, recruit your yoga blocks or your fingertips if you need a little more space here. Exhaling, hips move back into a half split. Inhaling, bending forward. And exhale back, half split. So staying with that, hands grounded, or as you inhale forward now, arms can rise overhead. Exhaling through that balance as the chest tips forward, arms reaching behind you. 2 more, wherever you're at. Inhale, arms sweep, lifting the chest. Exhale, half split. Inhaling, sweep the arms up as you bend into the front knee. Exhale, straighten, reaching the arms back. Last time, to inhale, arms sweep up. Exhaling, hands frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up. Stepping your way back to downward dog. So finishing up with a vinyasa of your choice. So you can come to your knees and lower to 8-point pose, knees, chest and chin. Moving with your breath. Or if you still have energy to burn in your arms, a full vinyasa. So we'll do 2 just so I can demonstrate each for you. So your choice, or move with me. Inhale, rolling forward into plank pose. Chest proud as you exhale, let the chest come forward so your elbows can stack over your wrists as you lower to chaturanga. Breathing in, upward facing dog, so your thighs are up. Keep squeezing your thighs, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale back, downward facing dog. So that's our last full vinyasa. And then stick with that last time, or as you inhale now, come forward to all fours. Dip the belly, lift the chest, release the toes. Exhale, lower the chest and the chin down to the mat. Breathe in, slither through cobra pose so your hips stay down. And now as you exhale, sit the hips back to the heels and rest. Child's pose, let the forehead come down to the floor. So your knees can be together or wide apart in child's pose, so it can be more restful, so that your head can comfortably come to the floor, or if you do have mats or pillows that you've been using, then you can pull them in here and let your head rest onto your blocks or your pillows. So we're going to stay for 4 more breaths. Good. When you're ready from here, we're going to slowly press ourselves up to sitting on our heels if kneeling is comfortable. If kneeling isn't comfortable, then you can do this from sitting cross-legged in the same way that we started. So we're just going to finish with a really simple twist. We'll start by linking our breath and movement, and then we'll just hold into the twist for a few deep breaths. So as you inhale now, let the arms reach overhead. On the exhale, we're going to turn to the left. Bring your left hand to the floor behind you for support. Right hand pressing gently on your left knee. Breathing here and looking over your back shoulder if it's comfy for your neck. Allowing the breath to pour into your belly now, so your belly breathing. Rather than trying to force the breath up into the chest, allow yourself to naturally breathe into your belly now. And this is where twists are described as being so detoxifying. So as the diaphragm is pushing downwards with each breath here, then the internal organs of the belly are getting a nice massage, and fresh blood is able to really rinse into all of the tiny nooks and crannies between all of our internal organs. So we'll stay for 3 more belly breaths here in our twist. Inhaling to come back to centre. And exhale, just settle here. Last twist to the right. Inhaling, arms rise overhead. On the exhale, turning to the right, turning your gaze to look over that back shoulder. Left hand just gently pressing onto the outside edge of your right knee, helping your rib cage to maybe turn a little deeper if there's room to do so. And again, just allowing your breathing to pour down into your belly here. So we'll stay for 3 more breaths and now twist. Letting an inhale unravel us back to centre. And as you exhale, rolling off onto one hip, we'll swing the legs out in front of us, sitting into Dandasana pose. Sorry, I've lost my hair clip. From here, get nice and strong through your legs. Again, ideally getting your pelvis tilting forward slightly. So if you find yourself slumping in your lower back and that this is difficult to get out of, prop yourself up on a couple of cushions or a yoga block if you have one. So that just helps you kick your tailbone back, pelvis tilting forward so you can sit up nice and tall here. So now, from this comfortable position, inhale to sweep your arms up and exhale, let them come back down both sides. Keeping this sitting up tall, inhale, arms come up overhead. As you exhale, let the hands come forward by your knees now as you tip your chest forward. So rather than just thinking, I want to get as deep or as low as I can, think chest forward, belly to thighs here. And then maybe you can sweep your hands to your feet or hold your shins. If you have a yoga strap, you can always just strap around your feet. Again, we're searching for, as well as length through the backs of the legs, but again, you can still bend in your knees here and pull your chest forward. So you're lengthening through your spine. Rather than rounding and feeling like we're getting deeper. So chest proud. Length through the crown of the head, wherever you're at. Once you are flexible enough to keep this length in the lower back, then our upper spine is naturally kyphotic, naturally forward rounding anyway. So once you have as much length as you can possibly get with your chest proud, when your chest is almost on your thighs, then if it's comfortable to do so, the forehead can come down to rest on the knees or the shins. But it's not necessary to be that deeply in the aesthetic of the pose to get the benefits from forward folding here. So 2 more deep breaths. Good. Using the hands to walk yourself back up to sitting. Our last little flow, using a little bit of abdominal strength to bring us down onto our back. So from Dandasana again, big breath in, arms reach up. And this time as you exhale, curve through the spine like we've been doing in cat-cow. Arms can circle forward, trying to sink the rolling down through your spine with your out breath. So squeeze the belly, you can always dig your elbows into the floor for support. Curling your way down into relaxation pose. So wriggle yourself around here. So you get nice and heavy through your pelvis, through your shoulders. Let your arms rest by your sides. Let your feet roll outwards so the muscles of your legs can start to relax and let go. Allow your eyes to close here, or if you prefer not to close your eyes, just soften your gaze on one point. And so continuing to breathe deeply for the last few moments of your practice. Inhaling into your belly, breathing up into your chest. If you can now, hold the breath in for 2 full seconds at the top of your inhale. And then let it go out the mouth. 2 more breaths like that. Inhaling, expand the belly, then the chest. Hold. Exhale through a sigh. Last time, inhaling. Hold the breath in. Exhale, release. Allow your breath then to fall back to its natural rhythm. Allow your body to completely relax and let go. Letting go of any judgments of the class gone by. If there were any sequences that you found difficult today, keep coming back to this class, and the more and more familiar you get with the movements, the more and more comfortable you'll get with them being able to breathe expansively in a way that brings your body and your mind much more freedom and peace. So if you have a few extra minutes to remain in your Shavasana, please do. Otherwise, if your time is up, then slowly rolling off onto one side. Eyes can be open or closed now, using your palms to press you gently back up to sitting. Crossing your legs here, and just closing your eyes. Just feeling what you feel. Notice how you feel through your spine, through your arms. Seeing if you can feel any tingles at your fingertips or in your toes. Taking this time to tune into a sense of gratitude for the movement that your body is able to do, for all that this body is able to do. Blinking your eyes open as soon as you feel ready. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that breath flow class. If you did, please subscribe or click like on this video and feel free to share with your friends. Thank you so much. Namaste.